Welcome back, everybody, to a really exciting episode of the Wildcat Alley podcast. A little bit off season this time. Your host, Alex Marcotullio, my boy Juice Thompson, coming to you live from Egypt. We got a really exciting episode ahead. We got a special guest who we'll get to in a second, but some really exciting things for Northwestern basketball. Really excited to get back with you, Juice. How's Egypt treating you?
Man, Egypt is going well. We already won one championship, have two more to win. So I'm excited to be on here, back talking hoops with you again. How's everything been with you, Alex?
Yeah, Juice, doing well here. It's been a crazy summer so far. Just traveling, kicking it with the wife, and doing some fun things around the city. So excited for you to get back. But in the meantime, we got some breaking news out of Northwestern. We got a special guest here, the one, the only BOO BUIE. BOO, thanks for joining us today. Obviously, it was a memorable season, and now when the dust settles, and we want to talk about your team, let's digest what happened, right? And let's talk about the future, right? That's what we're here. We want to hear what went into your decision and what's it going to be.
Yeah, so obviously, and part of my decision, is just the incredible run we made this year, and then just obviously over the past 4 years, coming out of high school, I was super under-recruited. No one really believed in me except for Northwestern. Northwestern was the only high major who reached out and gave me an offer. That Northwestern alone will always have a place in my heart just based off of that. They gave me that first opportunity to be BOO BUIE, So, and part of my decision on coming back, that definitely was a huge part. And then obviously my senior year, the success we had, it was a super fun ride, one of the most fun years of my life. And I think that coming back next year, we have a chance to be even better and, running back and make a further run. So it's just super exciting knowing those two things and coming back, I feel like I'm coming back to my second home and everybody here loves me and I love everybody in the community. So it's just a great place to be.
Hell yeah, man. I mean, we heard it here first on Beyond the Big Ten. We got BOO BUIE coming back wearing Northwestern purple and white. That's huge. Juice, what do you got for us, man? This is obviously huge news, huge for the program.
Man, that's exciting. Congratulations on all your success so far. That's great news to me, the Wildcat fans. Everyone's going to be excited. So, as we get into you making that decision, I would like to know what was your process like? What was it like for you picking out an agent? Did you talk to a lot of agents? Kind of walk us through that. And what led you up, to your decision to come back to Northwestern?
Yeah, so after the season, I took some time off just to chill, relax, see some family. It was a long season, so, players need that mentally. And just time to sit back and think and just reflect on the season and see what the best decision and option would be for me at the time. And at first I thought that option was to, pursue the NBA draft, so that's what I decided to do. I reached out to my brother, just other alum and my other coaches and just talking to my family. I ended up deciding to find an agent with Wasserman, and it was just like a representation agreement, and I was gonna do the process. And then, as I was going through that process, I was super confident and I was getting better every single day. And I was just in a position where it's like, I feel confident in myself and my ability to, to go back and perform at an even higher level to, boost my pro stock and have a better chance instead of, being like a long shot guy throughout the process. So, just going back and be able to have that extra year to get better and, go through another fun run with the guys, it's a blessing. It's a blessing.
Yeah, so you mentioned your brother, BOO. Yeah, that's really cool. What was his feedback? What are some things that you're looking to work on this summer? I know last summer, coming back from your junior year into your senior year, it seemed to me that you really worked on your strength, your ability to work through contact, play through contact, and then like your durability, right? Like you were able to play all 36 games, play 30 plus minutes a night, and play at a high level. So what are some things that you saw within that early draft process that, some feedback that you received that you need to work on in order to boost that stock like you talked about?
Yeah, one thing that like stuck out for me majorly was just my 3-point percentage. being a guard at my size, not really super athletic, you got to really be able to shoot it from behind the arc, which I think I'm very highly capable of.
For sure.
And this year I didn't shoot great in the beginning of the year. I started to shoot better towards the end of the year, but I felt like overall I didn't show what type of shooter I really am. So I'm not too worried about that. I constantly work on my shooting. You can never perfect it. Look at Steph Curry, he's in the gym every day working on his shot. Shooting is one of those things you always work on. You can never perfect it. So just that, and then obviously continuing building my strength. I've seen how the strength helped me this year, so just trying to add a little more weight. That way I'm really just a force out there when I'm driving the ball, and just trying to stay on balance and continue to develop and making the right reads and just making the right play every single time. But most importantly, just having that consistency in the three-point shot.
Interesting. And then another thing to pick up on, you mentioned your brother. Obviously, Taylor Battle had a successful career, at Penn State, high school, and even when he played professionally. What is that like, having your brother, on coaching staff as an assistant coach and as a brother? And also, what kind of advice and how was he able to help you with this process, since he was able to go through it after he graduated?
So basically, I grew up my whole life, him being my basketball role model, just watching everything that he was able to accomplish and go through. I just watched how it changed his life. And where we come from, there's not really many options that we have to, do so. And I just kind of wanted to follow in his footsteps and, be great like he was. And so, yeah, the relationship between us, is just more so like a father-son. Like he's more like a father figure. We're like a 12 years difference, and he kind of, more so treats me that way. As I got older, it's kind of became more of like a friendship, and now we talk about certain things that we didn't used to talk about, and we hang out more often and stuff like that. But on the court, he actually is. He's good to have on the bench, because when I'm not seeing something, or if I'm getting frustrated, or whatever the case may be, he's a voice that I could listen to, just hear what he's saying and try to make the change quick, instead of just keep talking to myself and just not seeing it, or continue to just beat up on myself. He gets me through those, and then obviously just throughout every practice, how it is with a sibling. You have a tendency, to mess with them more. So he notices literally every single thing I do in practice. So he's just super nitpicky with me and making sure I'm doing everything 100% and super focused. Like, there's no messing around.
With your decision to return, switching gears a little bit, what does this mean for your legacy? What does it mean for the legacy of BOO BUIE here at Northwestern? What do you see in the future? What are you going to see from the fans after this decision and moving on?
I think it's gonna be a good thing for the school, for the program. I think it's gonna excite a lot of people. I mean, I know I'm excited. I know the coaches are excited. The returning guys are super excited. We're just expecting what it was this past year, but even better. Our goals are to win the Big Ten and make an even further run in the tournament, like I said earlier. And there's no reason we can't. We're not necessarily worried about anybody telling us we can't anyway. They just said that we were going to be 13th in the league this year.
You already
finished
proved
second.
that.
So
yeah.
We're not really worried about that anymore. We're just, focused on accomplishing bigger things, because, we're capable of doing that.
We got you coming back. We also got some great news that Coach Collins' contract was extended. Did that play a part in your decision to come back? What's the atmosphere like now with him getting that extension that he, so well deserved after, like you guys just mentioned, we were projected to finish 13th in the conference, and we had this historic season. How did that play a role in your decision to come back? And what's that relationship like with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was a huge role. Coaches, the guy I came in with, he's coached me all 4 years, and he deserves this year as much as anybody, if not more than a lot of people. A lot of people threw his name in the dirt along on top of our names and just the program in general, and he never turned on us, and he just always came in ready to work. And so for that, I'm super appreciative of him, and he deserves everything he's getting. But obviously that's a huge role. Definitely waiting to hear the news. I didn't doubt that he wasn't going to get extended, but if that had not been the case, then I don't know if I would have been coming back to Northwestern.
Yeah, like you mentioned, he gave you your shot, right?
Yeah,
like
he
he was
gave
the
my
one
shot.
that saw your talent from early on, and obviously has molded you into the player that you are. Obviously, you've worked really hard as well, but without his guidance and tutelage, you probably wouldn't be here. So that's really great to hear. So like, what's next for you, right? Like we talked about your legacy, right? You know, I'm gonna throw some stats at you right now for what you need to become the all-time leading this and that. You need 497 points to break Juice and I's teammate John Scherna's all-time record at 2038.
Shout out to John Scherna too.
Shout
before
out
you
John
keep
Scherna.
going. He won at Euro Cup last night, MVP of the finals. All Euro Cup first team. Scherna is crushing it over in
big time.
Spain.
Yeah,
Got to
he's
shout
big
him
time.
out.
He's
Go
big
ahead. I
time.
had to shout him out.
So Boo coming
ahead.
back has a chance to beat his record for points, which has held true for like 12 years right now. So that's huge. 497 points. And then we talk about somebody else on the bench. Bryant McIntosh had 700 career assists, and you need 253 to beat that. So that's like a little about over 7 a game. So some lofty goals for you, but you personally, you for the team, what are some goals heading into the season? I know you mentioned win the Big Ten title, but what can we look for from you and the team as we head into the 23-24 season?
For me individually, I obviously like to, go back-to-back all first-team honors. But most importantly for the team, we just want to win a Big Ten title. We want to be one of the first teams to do that. And like I said, just make a further run in the tournament. We want to go to Sweet 16, Final Four, even win it all. We're not holding ourselves short, but, we just want to do something different. I don't really have personal accolades for myself. I never really did that. I've always been like about the team. I'm a play my game based on how I think I'm going to help the team win. Mm-hmm. So with like the accolades and stuff, throughout my 4 years, like I've just been playing, and at the end of those 4 years, like my stat line and my career stats have read what they've read. I didn't try or target that. So next year going into that season, I'm gonna do the same exact thing. I'm just gonna try to win as many games as possible, and whoever has to guard me, I'm gonna try to kill them.
Pray for them, right? Yeah.
Pray for them. Yeah.
I love it.
And I will lock them up on the other end.
That's right.
Like
Oh,
Juice.
he playing defense. I like that. Yeah, hey, I got a few tricks to teach you for the defensive end, but like we talk about your individual goals, one thing, that really stood out. Obviously, you continue to get better over your time at Northwestern. Your numbers went up and your averages, points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Was there anything in particular you worked on, last offseason that led to your big senior year? Was it anything, advice that the coaches gave you, or was it more of like an individual thing that you realized of what you had to work on, and what are you working on for next year to, add to your game?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of a lot of things. Just the progression of the 4 years, just all the games being played, just knowing how the league works, knowing what it takes to win, and then just really sacrificing a lot of stuff outside of, like outside of practice hours, sacrificing more hours in the gym, just trying to develop my game, forcing my teammates to come with me to the gym, bringing them, getting them shots up. And I feel like this year was the culture in the locker room and on the court was just super different than previous years. So
yeah, it's a testament to you, man. Like you could really tell like your maturity and your development really was a catalyst to the team moving forward, and it showed in the locker room and on the court.
And so you talked about the guys coming in from the portal. We got 3 freshmen coming in. Now you're the OG going into your 5th year. What's that like for you as obviously, you're the leader of the team, heart and soul. The ball is in your hands. Obviously you've showed that growth and maturity. So what is that like for you, knowing that you really have to bring these guys in and, teach them the way? You're the guy that they're going to look to for advice and everything. How do you, take on that role?
Yeah, so that was something that I went through this year, and I would say that I was actually still navigating it because I don't feel like anyone can be too perfect at that. Everyone's human. Everybody gets into their own thoughts at times. So, and in order to be leading a group of 14 guys, all similar ages, it's hard to do that 24/7. But, that's just something I did last year, and you know, it's just about bringing everyone together. You know, letting everybody know, like, hey, like this is for us. Like, this is not for any individual. And if we make it about us, it's not going to work out. But if you actually make it about the team, you know, individual success will come with that. And you know, that's something that showed this year. You know, with guys like Chase and I, and you know, other guys, Brooks, you know, Robbie, and everybody started getting attention towards the end of the year, and that's just what you get when you're on a winning program. You know, say we had been losing, then you know, no one's getting attention. Everybody's just getting talked bad about. So I just think, you know, forming this culture, and then every single day, you know, you just stand 10 toes on that culture, and you don't allow slippage. That was my biggest thing. I'm super hard on the guys. You know, it's tough love, but when we're on the court, you know, sometimes I could be super like mean in a sense, but really I don't mess around. I don't think it's time to like necessarily have fun. Like, obviously you want to have fun, but it's not play around time. And then off the court, you know, just super love the guys up, hang out, you know, take the younger guys out, you know, bring them to lunch, just do stuff off the court, you know, let them know that you actually care about them, not that you're just using them, you know, like you don't use them. Basically let them know, like, you're a part of the team, like, we need you. And then making everybody just feel a part. You know, when you feel a part, you know you're willing to give more, so.
Nothing wrong with a little tough love.
And then one other thing, first time, you know, Coach Collins, second trip to the NCAA Tournament, your first time playing in the tournament. Me personally, me and Alex, we never got there. You know, what are some things you learned, you know, playing those 2 games in the tournament? What was that experience like?
Yeah, playing those 2 games in the tournament was probably one of the best experiences of my life for sure. I learned that leading up to that game, you need to practice with only brand new basketballs the whole entire time.
For real.
For at least 3 weeks, or you're not gonna find no jump shot.
Straight out the box.
Yeah, because those things are coming straight out the box, and no whistles are being blown. So it's a fun experience, though. You know, just going and traveling. The traveling like was even like going and staying before the game was different than like just regular games during the season. You know, it was just super exciting. Everything was just super positive the whole time. And luckily we were in California. The weather was super warm and nice. So when we weren't playing, we were just out there enjoying the weather, and it was an awesome experience for everyone.
And our fans traveled well too, right? We had a lot of purple in those stands. So talk about that. How was that atmosphere playing in Sacramento?
Yeah, I mean, the atmosphere in Sacramento was great, but just the atmosphere that, you know, all the people brought all year long, you know, was really, really huge. It played a big role in our success, and we couldn't be more grateful than Wildcat Nation for coming out to Sacramento. I was getting a bunch of reposts on like social media from like all the alum and stuff. So it was definitely great, and it was finally fun to see like all purple in the gym instead of the opposing team filling the arena up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with you coming back, you're bringing so much excitement back to Welsh Ryan. It's going to be jumping again this year, just like it was for the greater portion of this year. So since we're on beyond the Big Ten, let's talk about some of the road atmospheres in the Big Ten. What are some of your favorite places to go in and play within conference?
Yeah, so some of my favorite places, I like playing at Michigan State.
You kill it there too.
Yeah,
like,
I kill it there.
That rim looks like the ocean there for you.
The atmosphere there is great though, because I've always kind of been a player that talks a little bit on the court, and their fans just constantly talk. So it's like I'm not talking to their fans, but in my head I'm talking to them. So it's like every time I do something, it's just more motivating. And then same with Illinois. I like playing at Illinois. But they're like little dome.
You scored the ball well.
Their spaceship or whatever they have.
Yeah. Their little spaceship dome. Yeah, that's a cool arena. I like the orange floor. It gets loud in there too. Purdue's pretty cool. It gets super loud in there. It's hard to play there.
How about Purdue during shoot around when you bounce the ball? You can hear the echo and everything. It's crazy in there.
Yeah, but then when it's Purdue during the game, you bounce the ball, you don't hear anything.
Right?
Yeah, you can't hear anything.
The sound like amplifies down to the floor. It's crazy.
It just sounds like static the whole game.
So where do you not like playing? What are your least favorite places to play in the Big Ten?
I don't like playing at Wisconsin. I don't like playing at Wisconsin because it's like the gym is cold.
Right, they got that
Like,
ice
yeah,
underneath
they got the
there.
ice
Yeah,
underneath
it's
it,
crazy.
so it's
underneath,
freezing in there,
yeah.
and it's kind of dark in there. So, you know, playing there is a little challenging.
Got the dub though. Got the
Yeah,
dub
we
last
got the
year.
dub last year. Yeah, dog fight. Yeah, it was a
Big
dog
time.
fight.
That's a tough place to play.
Speaking of that, like that win, what was it like, you know, during the season this year? You had the COVID scare, a game had to get rescheduled. You know, a lot of the fans and everybody were talking. They were worried about guys, you know, not having their legs under them. But you guys did a really good job. You came out, got some wins. What was that like as you guys, you know, navigated through that COVID scare and had to take some time off?
I mean, obviously, COVID isn't going away. You know, it's definitely calmed down, and you know, it's getting more under control. But it was something that we kind of been preparing for all year, because, like I told you before, we knew that it didn't go away. So, you know, our medical staff and those guys were always on top of it, just consistently telling us info and just making sure that we were good. And you know, so once everybody got back healthy, you know, we just made the commitment to grinding and getting back in shape. And we weren't going to have no excuses for, you know, coming off of COVID. We weren't going to use that as an excuse to go out and lose games. More so, we used it as fuel, like even more fuel. Like this bad thing hit our team. Like, let's use it to motivate us and go out and go even harder. And just that's what we kind of did. And so those next 2 days of practice after we all came back from COVID, those days were crazy, but it ended up paying off. I think we went on like a 5-game win streak or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you'd lost a couple going into that break, and then, you know, I know people were talking, right? People were talking. We talked about it on the pod as like, okay, how were they going to respond after the losing streak? And then from there, y'all just really stuck together and put together a great streak, and we're popping teams, right? Like getting some really good wins against ranked teams, and then going to other people's buildings and putting them to bed. So that was good stuff, man.
Last, I wanted to know, what advice would you give to the up-and-coming players that are going to be in similar situations as you, with, you know, receiving NILs, going through the pre-draft process, picking out an agent? Is there any advice you got for the next generation of players that are listening to this? Because obviously, you know, you're a fan favorite. You know, all the kids I work with, they always asking questions about you. See how my sons are when they get to see you. What advice do you have for the next generation of players that's hoping to be in a situation like you?
Yeah, so, you know, I mean, NIL has definitely changed the game. With that being said, you know, what I would advise is to just really be smart, you know, and truly believe in what your gut is telling you to do, you know, and really like do your research on, you know, with these coaches and what they're telling you, and what the NIL situation is going to look like, because, you know, there's numbers that's being thrown out there that aren't realistic, and those numbers aren't being met, and promises aren't being met. So I would just say, don't look for the quick money. You know, do what's going to be best for you, whether that's at the time or in the long run. But whatever you feel is truly best for you at that moment, then I would say do that. But don't just be prone to taking quick money and putting yourself in harm's way for your future. You know, you don't want to get a quick 30 grand for 1 year and then set yourself up to be getting 25, 30 grand for the next 12 years instead of, you know, staying in a spot, making $0, and then, you know, putting yourself in the possession to, you know, go make a better living after that. You know what I'm saying?
For real, man. That's good advice.
I love that.
And then obviously, I would say definitely get a tax guy. Because most of those NILs are non-taxed, and you got to pay tax at the end of the year. Nothing's being taken out.
Taxman waits for no one, man.
Although Sam is definitely
collected. He's collected for sure.
Taxman waits for no one.
He's definitely
Man,
coming.
that's amazing. You know that already, man. That's good, man. You got your head on the shoulders, man. Good job, man. That's great advice, my boy.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Boo. And obviously, it's been a pleasure for us to interview you, get the exclusive interview. You heard it here first on Beyond the Big Ten, the Wildcat Alley podcast. Boo Buie returning to Northwestern for the 5th year. This is huge news for the Wildcat camp, and I'm sure the fans are going to go crazy over this. So appreciate it, bro. Thanks for joining us today.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
Man,
Thanks, Juice.
Appreciate you, my boy. Man, anytime, man. We got to have you back on during the season. Good luck this year. You know what to do. Let's get that All-American, my boy, back to the tournament.
Yes, sir.
Beyond the Big Ten is a network of podcasts that aims to be your go-to resource for all things Big Ten. We cover the entire conference with shows hosted by ex-players and athletic alumni, aiming to be your go-to source of information and entertainment for your favorite team. Hosted by ex-Big Ten players, media, and insiders, our podcasts are focused on giving diehard fans and those alums an inside scoop about the teams and people that make the Big Ten Conference one of the most watched and most talked about conferences in sports. We're excited to talk Big Ten basketball with you wherever you may be. Subscribe now.